There's an online marketplace for just about everything. You can get rides with Uber, a place to stay with Airbnb, and now a new app that lets dog owners find someone to watch over Spike instead of sending your beloved canine to a kennel. Great idea? Perhaps. But is it worth $12 million to one of Silicon Valley's premier VC firms? Apparently so, because that's who Menlo Ventures, that's how much they invested in this idea. And here to explain is Menlo Ventures MD, Venky Ganesan. Venky, thanks so much for joining us. So what's the idea? I mean, I have a dog. I go on vacation. I'd love to have someone to watch over him. Is this where I go?
Yeah, you do, because the problem is, before Rover, you can either leave it with a friend or with a family member. Good news is it's cheap. Bad news is you have emotional guilt for the rest of the year. So
it's called Rover. That's a clue to begin with. It's called Rover, and it's like what, like a Lyft or like an Uber for my dog?
Exactly. Now, Menlo is an investor in Uber, and when we looked at the size of the transportation market, that was $10 billion. The dog grooming and dog petting market is $5 billion, and the alternative, which is a kennel, is terrible. And we think Rover is a great option for people, especially this holiday season, to find a place, find someone who loves your pet and takes care of them.
And so if we extrapolate or extend, let's say, Venky, the comparison to Uber, does it work similarly? You have independent contractors, effectively, like drivers for Uber, who now become dog sitters?
Absolutely right. It's a marketplace where independent contractors essentially get on the marketplace and come in and dog sit for you. And so, like Uber, Rover connects pet sitters with pet owners.
How many dog sitters or pet sitters, however you prefer to call them, are on Rover right now? 25,000.
92% of people have a pet sitter available to them within 5 miles, and it's in over 9,000 cities. So this is a phenomenon that's taking off.
I wonder about, so my dog Steve is probably more important than most other people's dogs, and I wouldn't be willing to let him stay anywhere with someone that I didn't personally know. That's got to be common.
Yeah, very common. I mean, pets are like our children, right? And you want to know your dog sitter, and this is where Rover does really well. They do background checks. They allow you to interview the person. You meet them ahead of time. In addition to that, during the stay, they send you photos, and you have insurance, and they have access to a veterinarian on a 1-800 line. That's why you can feel very comfortable that the people at Rover truly love and will take care of your pet.
Venky, is it going to remain is this just a dogs thing, or is there an opportunity to extend Rover to, I'm not going to say other kinds of pets, because I don't know how eager
goldfish
Matt might be, to put his goldfish with somebody else, or perhaps his pet rabbit. But I'm just wondering how big, I guess what I'm fishing for here is an idea of how big this business could be. We hear about Uber being a $100 billion opportunity. What about Rover?
It's a very big opportunity, Eric and Matt. I mean, you think about it again. Taxi limousine is only a $10 billion market, and Uber's expanding it. Dog grooming and dog petting is already a $5 billion market, and the alternatives are very poor. When you take your dog to a kennel, it's like taking your child to an orphanage. You don't like that experience. And what Rover is going to do is expand that opportunity. Today, most people leave it with their family member or their friend. And what Rover is going to do is make sure you actually have someone else who can do it without the guilt.
I got to say, obviously the guys at Menlo are a lot smarter than I am. I'm not buying it. I can't imagine.
But some people will. Look, a lot of people felt that way about Uber initially.
My dog goes to my mom or to his trainer, and that's it.
And a lot of people will feel that way, but others may not. Venky, you were going to make a point.
I was just going to say we felt exactly the same way. When I first heard it, and Aaron easily called me, I said, there's no way I'm investing in a pet sitting service. But when you look into the data, it's surprising. It is a huge, huge market.
It's definitely a big market. I would spend any amount of money on Steve,
Well, I know that, having seen it done. Venky, I have another question for you, which is really the concept that underpins this industry, not just Rover, but also Uber and AIRBNB and other models, sort of network effect models being built like it. Lots of people want to call it the sharing economy. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but being shared, everybody's getting paid. We were talking about this earlier. What do you call it? I've taken to calling it the on-demand economy because that kind of makes sense to me. But is there a better word, better terminology for this industry?
Yeah, so we try to use the phrase the right now economy because it feels into the on-demand piece. But the reason why I think people call it the sharing economy is you have all these stranded fixed assets. So you can think of your extra room in your house as a stranded fixed asset. You can think about your car as a stranded fixed asset. And you can think about your human capital, which is not being used as a stranded fixed asset. And that's what all these technologies are doing, is taking advantage of that stranded fixed asset and getting productivity to them. And that's what's happening today, right? There are lots of people out there who love taking care of pets, never knew they could build a business around it. And Rover is helping them build a business, just like Uber is helping people earn an income by driving a car.
What do you think the size of the on-demand or right now, or preferably not, sharing economy is globally?
I think it's huge. So we have done a bunch of calculations at Menlo. We think that somewhere between a $300 to $400 billion revenue market. We actually put a stat out that said that we think there will be 1 million jobs created by this economy. I think it's already wrong, because I think Uber alone is going to create 1 million jobs in the next couple of years.
Hang on, can we go, let's draw another comparison between Rover and Uber. Uber takes 20 to 25% of what the driver collects. Is that the same in Rover, that Rover takes 20 to 25% of whatever's being paid to pet sit the dog?
Yes, so they take 20% cut.
And it's a generous commission.
And if Uber is an example, they'll raise that commission a lot, unilaterally.
Well, I mean, so they do a great service, right? They connect you, they do the validation, they make sure that if something goes wrong, that something's available in customer service. And we think this is a very fair price for both a sitter and a pet owner.
All right, Venky, thanks very much. Venky Ganesan there, Managing Director at Menlo Ventures, who have made some incredibly intelligent investments and profitable investments in the past. So,
well, one thing they're going to find out soon enough is how big Rover is during the holidays. A lot of people travel at Christmas.
Will you find a cat sitter?
Will you call
is the question.
Matt's mom, or will you use Rover?
That's right.